Welcome to Get Your Bell Rung, Pro Wrestling Podcast. Guys, we have an intimate show tonight. Just me and my one co-host. But that's okay, because the one co-host I have is such an extraordinary man. A man that has a memory unlike any other because of professional wrestling. He is the co-host of Rasslin Memories. A man that I'm lucky to have as my co-host here. He had so much to this podcast. I am talking about none other than the Grizzled vet. What's going on, brother?
Not much. Let me tell the listeners, though, please refrain from the fact that you heard him just say intimate the day before Valentine's Day, because we do not fly that way. Right. Get your bell rung.
It's not that type of show, people.
Nope, never will be.
Valentine's Day, man, did you remember to buy your wife a card and a gift?
Oh, I got her flowers and all that like a couple days ago. I was smart. I knew I was going to be working on Valentine's Day, so I took care of that before I went back.
I didn't. I went out tonight. But you know what? I felt good about it because my wife has also been busy. And so we both went out together to get cards and stuff like that. And people, this is the first year that I've ever waited to the last minute to get my wife a card. It's the first time my wife's ever did the same. And we know why you have to go ahead of time, because there wasn't shit left.
Nope.
I told my wife, I said, I apologize. This will be the worst Valentine's Day card you've ever received. And she's like, yeah. So, but that's okay, because it's not about the card. It's about the words you put in the cards. What comes from the heart. And believe me, I appreciate my wife. I have a wife that I believe is a rare woman, even though she strongly dislikes professional wrestling. She supports it. She comes out to the shows with me. She knows a lot about professional wrestling. She bitches about knowing too much about wrestling. She always says, I cannot believe I knew the name of this person and you couldn't even remember their name. I say, I know, right? I made you a better person. But yeah, I have a great wife. Happy Valentine's Day, baby. She'll be watching the podcast. So
mine's one that I already took care of Valentine's Day. But yeah, no, I work for, a grocery store. The floral department of that grocery store is right directly in front of my department. So I will spend tomorrow just watching the guys coming in at the last minute going, well, fuck, that's all I got left. Yeah, that's all I got left, buddy. That's what happens when you wait till the day before or the day of. It's like going to the grocery store on Thanksgiving and wanting a fresh turkey. Fucker. Yeah. We out.
You know what, though? For all you men who's going to pull that, let old KG give you some advice. For my wife's birthday this year, actually, instead of getting her a card with her gift, what I did was I actually wrote some very personal things about how I feel about her. And then what I did was I took a picture of her and I with what I wrote, and I went to a copying place, Kinko's or what. I don't even Kinko's store. I think it was FedEx that I went to. And I had them make this birthday card, basically, with my own personal words, with our picture in it, right? With our picture added to it. I can tell you that my wife enjoyed that much more than a card, because it was something that came from the heart. So men, if you can't find your wife a great card, do that. Get in front of the computer, write some things that comes from the heart. I assure you that your wife will appreciate that a lot more than a card that you're going to buy for her.
It's not about the money you spend or what you buy. It's about the thought behind it.
Absolutely.
I go basic. I just bought flowers. I didn't do anything fancy, but my wife likes flowers. I buy her flowers throughout the year though too. So,
well, the thing about my wife is, my wife is cheap. She is. So, and our anniversary is in January, the 16th.
See, mine's in March, so mine's like a month after Valentine's Day. So,
well, see, the thing with us is November's my wife's birthday. December's Christmas. January's our anniversary. And then February is Valentine's Day. So she's like, fuck gifts on Valentine's Day. Let's just exchange cards, go out to eat, enjoy one another.
There you go.
Instead of gifts. And that's what we do. So, but let's get down to business. No one wants to hear us.
Let's talk about wrestling.
Yeah, no one wants to,
guys,
wrestling podcast, and
I dug myself out of a rabbit hole for this year.
Yeah. Let's talk about SmackDown tonight. Your overall thought?
It's all right. Nothing, just kind of, they stuck with their storylines, couple promos that just weren't necessary, I guess, but they continued on with their stories. They didn't change anything. They just kind of, added more. So at least they didn't try to do something stupid. They didn't, convolute things. They didn't mix things up. They didn't do the 3 storylines in one match shit like Tony Khan did the night before. And so, overall, it was okay.
Yeah, there was no surprises. I think I would have enjoyed SmackDown much better if it would have been a 2-hour show instead of a 3-hour show. 3 hours is just too much. Too much.
Yeah, we'd be almost done with this show if it was a 2-hour show.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, fans, we're going to be honest with you. I'm going to go over the first hour. I wasn't able to watch the first hour. I was out dealing with some mechanical issues I had to get taken care of. But, of course, the Grizzled vet, he was able to watch it, so he'll give us his opinion on what he thought about it. We'll start off with Tiffany Stratton opens the show by entering the ring and grabbing a microphone. She talks about 3 months ago how she lost the WWE Championship. So she, she's qualifying for the Elimination Chamber. She says she is going to do something. She does it. Tiffany is walking and expecting to win. She is interrupted by Nia Jackson, Last Legend. Take it from here, Grizzle.
Oh, God, do I have to? Once again, SmackDown started off with a fucking promo. Tiffany, I'm going to win the Elimination Chamber. I want to see the wrestler comes out and goes, well, I'm going to try, but I don't know. Right. Everybody's going to win the Elimination Chamber. Duh. But win the Elimination Chamber. Nia and Lash come out. Tiffy makes the comments towards Lash about, I see you already have my replacement. Lash Legend says that she upped it, Nia upgraded. So, it's the, bitchy cat fight between the two of them. Like, okay. But that goes on. Then here come Rhea and Io Sky. They come out because obviously they have the tag match tonight. So they get involved in the promo. So it turned into like 5 women in one promo, which just was to set up the women's tag team match. That's how they opened the show. I don't know if that's what I would go with as an opener.
Right.
A promo with Tiffy. Not that there's anything wrong with Tiffany Stratton, but I definitely don't think I would have opened with the women's tag match unless they just said, fuck it, let's get it out of the way.
Now, one thing I went and watched a video of this because I found it amusing a little bit, I guess, talking about the women's tag match, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Nia Jackson Last Legend. And it was a winner's draw via referee stoppage, seemingly because referee had lost control of the match. But the crowd wasn't happy about that. The crowd actually responded with, ref, you suck.
Yeah, no, the ref took it on this one. Yeah, I didn't even realize it was going on. They were fighting on the outside at the commentator table,
right.
And then all of a sudden he rang the bell, and I'm like, what? So I just kind of assumed, okay, a double count out. But no, he wasn't even counting. He just said stoppage because he couldn't control the match anymore. The match had gone out of control, so he just stopped it.
Now, I got to be honest with you, man. In the 40-plus years, age of myself, that I've been watching professional wrestling, and I'm sure it's happened before, I just don't remember it ever stopping because a ref lost control like that. Usually it's a count out or a DQ, but just say, well, I lost control. Do you remember that ever happening? And if so, what match was this?
I don't recall what match, but no, it's happened before because, they're trying to separate these two. Nobody will break it up. And then the referee just finally calls it. And they usually call it like a double count out, or I think it's the first time they've used referee stoppage for it.
Right.
But normally referee stoppage means because, injury or, somebody's bleeding too bad or something happened like that. But I've seen that kind of a finish before where it just gets out of control and they throw the match out. The match has been thrown out by the referee, not referee stoppage. So
right.
I think it's kind of a case of bad wording.
Now, after the match, or after the stoppage, or whatever you want to call it, the action continued, ultimately resulting in Nia Jax going through a table. Talk to us about that, Grizzle.
Rhea put her through a table. The referee had no control. Referee continued to not have control, and it just turned into a big schmoz. Overall, though, we mentioned this last week. We weren't looking forward to this match.
Right.
And, you didn't see it. Robbie, maybe he got lucky and didn't have to watch it because he figured, hey, I don't have to do the show tonight. I'm going to go to bed. Lucky fucker. It didn't work for me.
Mhm.
And part of the problem for me was Lash. When
Right.
she did her spots, there was a spot between her and Io and Ripley that it moves so slow to set up Rhea to Io does a flip and then rolls her up from behind, but Rhea gets her from behind to do the forward momentum, which allows Io to roll her up. But it was so slow. It just like and then this and then this, and it slowed it down. It never until the schmoz at the end when everybody started fighting, it never really picked up. And
Right.
in my opinion, part of that was because of Lash. She can't keep up with the people, and it showed bad in this match. And I'm not going to criticize someone for their in-ring work because, like we say, we're not wrestlers. That's not our
Right.
job. But
Right.
you could see that it slowed down. So if it slowed down, I'm going to say it slowed down.
Right.
And it was obvious because of Lash. I mean, the spots they were doing had to be choreographed so well so she could pull them off.
Let's take a time out for a second. Talk about a couple of things, and we'll get back into SmackDown. Don Callis commented recently on Hall of Famer Paul Heyman winning the 2025 Wrestling Observer Best 9 Wrestler Award. Now, I wanted to talk about this for a second because you know what? In the heat of the atmosphere in today's professional wrestling, especially with the fans, you don't ever really hear a whole lot of nice things being said between companies, right?
No.
And this is why I wanted to cover this. This is what Don Callis said. A guy that we give shit to a lot, because he's a heel, we're supposed to. He says, that's great for Paul Heyman. He is happy for him, and he's good. He's glad that he was able to accumulate a third of the votes that he was able to. And he said, Paul did a lot for me in my early career. I'll always have a soft spot for Paul. What I find kind of, I don't want to use the word amusing, kind of, I guess it tickles me a little bit, is that we see Don Callis, the character on AEW every week, sometimes too much.
A little bit.
And he's this arrogant prick. He does such a good job of being the heel that you just want to whip his ass, right? He does such a great job that it doesn't matter which of his family out there. If he's there, you're going to hear fans chant, fuck Don Callis on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
And here we hear from not Don Callis, the character, but Don Callis, the human, saying, I'm glad for Paul Heyman. He's done a lot for me, So props to Don Callis for that, because he could have stayed in character. He could have kept it kayfabe. He could have said basically fuck Paul, but he didn't. So yeah, I found that kind of interesting that he did that. Also, guys, don't forget May 8th and 9th in Illinois this year. It's going to be FanFest 4. Go to sicw.org to buy your tickets, to get all the information, including all of the legends that's going to be there. People like JBL, Mickey James is going to be there. I am looking forward to it. I'm going to be there. Not a legend, obviously, but I'm going to be there as a fan. Mr. Herb Simmons, who owns SICW, is a great guy, a friend of mine. So I'm just going to be there to also support him and what he's doing for professional wrestling. So again, sicw.org, guys. It's going to be a very, very fun weekend. I was there last year, and I still have great and fond memories of last year. I walked away not only being able to meet some incredible legends I grew up watching on TV in professional wrestling, but I walked away with a lot of friends, a lot of new friends, people that I talk to on a regular basis. So again, sicw.org. Book now. It is filling up fast. Don't want to miss this.
I would love to be able to attend one someday. Herb is one of the true good guys in the business.
Oh my God, man!
You gotta love Herb. He is just such a cool guy.
You know what I love about Herb? I don't think Herb's human, and I tell you why. If I send him a text at 8:30 in the morning, he's responding at 8:35. If I send him a text at 4 in the morning, he's responding at 4:02. The son of a bitch don't sleep, because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Herb's not only the owner of SICW, he's also part of the California Reality Club. He's put together all of this stuff, and on top of it, he's a flipping mayor. So the man is so busy, but yet such a good guy, and he's always there for his friends when you need them. Always. I have never gone without hearing from him within 5 minutes, regardless of the time that I've texted him. It's incredible to me. Incredible. That's why I say he's not human.
I have not experienced that. Yes, he responds back quickly when I message him, but I've never done a message at like 4 o'clock in the morning, because I try to have a time frame where I don't, because ain't nothing more annoying than you're trying to sleep or you're resting and you just hear your phone at like 3 in the morning.
Well, I don't sleep. And I'm on social media. That's what I do a lot by my writing with the news and the different things. And you can see who's up. So I don't text him, but I'll see him up at that time, and I'll send a quick, "Hey, Herb," DM him, and yeah, he's up. So, but yeah, as I said, the guy's not human. I mean, I don't sleep very much myself, but I at least get 3 or 4 hours a night. I don't know if Herb even gets that, to be honest with you.
I do about 5 or 6.
Yeah. No. Let's get back to it, man. So after the break, we go to Carmelo Hayes. He gets in the ring to let us know that he'll be qualifying for the Elimination Chamber match. When he shoots, Melo don't miss. But first, he says that we have business to take care of tonight. There's been a man who he owes a match to right now. Take it, Grizzled.
Ilya Dragunov comes out. This is supposed to be, once again, well, he canceled the open challenge for the week because this is him giving a match to Ilya Dragunov. Right. Ilya comes to the ring. Before the match can start, though, we are interrupted by the MFT. Solo Sikoa comes out. He talks about the qualifier match, whatever, and he also says that if there's going to be a title match tonight, I'm going to be a part of it. I'm going to be the belt's back to me. MFT step into the ring, which then brings out Matt Cardona and Apollo Crews. They come out. A little bit of a fight starts, but it's still 5-on-4. Then we hear Shinsuke's music. He runs out, and he evens it up. They brawl for a minute or two. And then Nick Aldis comes out and says we're not going to have a title match tonight. We are going to have a good old-fashioned 10-man tag match. And then we go to break. We come back from break, and then you have your standard 10-man tag match. Just anybody and everybody. Not a lot of tags. I didn't see a lot of tags. It was kind of in and out, but
right.
Overall, I mean, decent match. I mean, you look at the sides of it. You got, Ilya, Carmelo, Matt Cardona, Apollo Crews, which I find interesting. Apollo Crews has now just kind of come out of the woodwork.
Right.
Just out of nowhere, he's like, "Hey, Apollo Crews is back."
And let me stop you for a second. I'm curious about something, because again, I was out of the shop taking care of my brake pads being changed. Last week, when we seen Apollo Crews, we all made the comment that he looked like he lost a lot of muscle tone to him. Seeing him tonight in a match with his shirt off, was that just his clothes that made him look so small, or has he indeed trimmed down?
It looks like he's trimmed down. It looks like he's lost a little bit of weight. Still got some good muscle on him, though. He still looks good. But no, it looks like he's lost a little bit of weight. So, but yeah, no, look good in the ring. I just think it's interesting. He just out of the blue, there's Apollo Crews. Okay. And we accept it. No explanation of where he's been. No something. Just Apollo Crews is back, and you just kind of accept it. But like I said, 10-man tag match, decent. MFTs get the win. With Solo doing the spike on Carmelo, so we get the we get the win on there. And then after that, all the MFTs are in the ring, and you know what's going to happen. Right. And sure enough, the lights go out. Shows up in the balcony. There's the Wyatt Six. They're all standing there staring at him, and Solo's holding up the lantern saying, "You want it, come get it." So, once, like I said, we're continuing storylines tonight. Right. They didn't just ignore the Wyatt Six thing, whatever. They did something, so it continues the storyline. That's the thing I liked about the show. At least storylines were going.
Did the color commentary make an issue out of Tonga actually pinning Carmelo Hayes? In other words, that means Tonga Tama Tonga has to be the number one contender, being that he just now has pinned Carmelo Hayes. Was that kind of
yes? They made the comment, yeah. And I'm sorry, he hit the spike, but then Tama Tonga did the whatever they call it, the something blade. You know, his so he got the pin. And yes, no, they made the standard. You know, puts him in line for a title shot, which I wouldn't mind seeing that.
No, I wouldn't either.
You pin the champ, even a 10-man tag match. Yeah, you should get a title shot, or at least be considered for one.
Right.
But yeah, they did the standard. You know, he pinned the champ thing. So
yeah. Next, we go where I'm almost caught up to Charlotte Flair backstage. She wants to get back in the good graces of Alexa Bliss, so she gives her flowers and a picture of herself and says that she will also be at Alexa Bliss's side tonight for her match. Alexa says that's enough for her, and it's funny. I'm glad that they covered that because I was able to catch SmackDown right at the match with Alexa Bliss. We're going against Zelina Vega and Julia with Kiana James for the Elimination Chamber qualifier. But one of the questions that went through my head as I seen Alexa Bliss walking to the ring with Charlotte was, I wonder if they covered what happened at Royal Rumble between the two, or did they just kind of sweep it under the rug like it had happened? Nice to see that they did cover that. Grizzled, again, I wasn't quite there yet. Was this a segment that you think was needed? As I think that was needed, or was this something that they could just swept, under the rug? What happened at Royal Rumble would have been a big deal.
To me, it wasn't necessary, but it wrapped up the thing with her and Alexa from the Royal Rumble. Yeah, she gave her black roses and an autograph photo, whatever. So yeah, they're friends again. So wasn't necessary. They probably could have done without it. I don't even think Alexa could have just come out to the ring without Charlotte. We didn't need the promo. We didn't need Charlotte out there. So, but
right. Before we get there, though, backstage, and I think this may be out of order, but maybe there was two segments with Kit Wilson in it.
There were two.
Okay.
There were two.
Okay. Kit Wilson reads poetry about toxicity to Nick
Toxic masculinity.
Yep. To Nick Aldis, while R-Truth and Damian Priest can do nothing but laugh. R-Truth shares his own poem about Kit Wilson being beat up by Obafemi, along with losing his manhood because all he sees is a camel toe. I'm going to go back and watch that because that sounds like that was just funny.
It was a comedy segment. It fit. Now, R-Truth, yeah. Violets are blue, roses are red. I forget the whole thing, but yeah, you get this. We can see your camel toe, and of course, Kit Wilson, toxic masculinity. I love Kit Wilson's character. It's one. It provides relief. It's kind of comic relief. I don't mind it. This segment was okay. The second segment, we'll get to that one, was kind of all right, but I don't think we needed two Kit Wilson segments. I think they could have easily done the second one to further the story, but you had to have your little comedy spot, and who doesn't love R-Truth?
Right. Next, we go where I'm actually now watching the Elimination Chamber qualifiers: Zelina Vega versus Julia with Kiana James versus Alexa Bliss with Charlotte Flair. Winner is Alexa Bliss. What was up with the spot with Julia? She had Alexa Bliss against the ropes, and she was like sticking her tongue out and shaking her head. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
like,
I didn't.
It's like a 5-year-old child.
I didn't understand it either.
Yeah, it's something else I noticed. I put up, again, Alexa gets the win. The match is okay.
It was all right for what it was. I think we all knew Alexa was going to win.
Right.
That's the problem with these Elimination Chamber qualifiers. It's, except for the main event, which we'll talk about, it's kind of obvious on some of them who's going to win. You kind of go, oh, yeah, okay. And this one, I mean, they could have swerved us and put in like Julia. They were not putting in Zelina, but it was obvious.
Yep. Next, we go to Sami Zayn and Rey Fenix backstage. Sami says, look, last week, I kind of basically dismissed you but I've been thinking about it. And he's like, it means a lot to me that you said that. And then he tells Ray Phoenix that, you know what, you're about to face Trick Williams. Man, that guy talks too much. You go out and basically whip his ass. And then right away, we hear, and actually, I may be wrong. Let's see. Nope, I thought maybe someone walked into that interview. But nope. Next we hear, was that? We had Trick Williams music. Yeah, Trick Williams music starts up right away. He gets the man. This guy is fucking over. Like over. Fans love this guy. He gets on the mic and he starts insulting Sami Zayn for begging for another opportunity. He says if he comes out here moping around Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu, we'll eat him alive later, talking about the main event, obviously. As far as Trick, he will do whatever it takes to qualify for the Elimination Chamber, and that means going through Ray Phoenix. Then we hear Ray Phoenix music hits, kind of interrupting Trick Williams, to be honest with you. And we get a Ray Phoenix versus Trick Williams match. I enjoyed this match. Winner's Trick Williams. Man, Ray Phoenix, though, he left a promotion, AEW, where he was getting over a lot with wins to WWE. And I don't remember last time I seen him actually win a match.
Oh, I'm sure he's won something, but no, and the match was good. This actually is probably one of the better matches of the night, if not the best match of the night.
Yeah.
So no, I enjoyed it. And you're right, Trick's over. As soon as he comes out, that entire crowd is, chanting whoop that Trick.
Right.
And he plays into it. So no, I see a lot of upside with Trick Williams. I think we're gonna see something good with him. I think he's one of those guys they really can't screw with. They can't screw. I mean, I thought they might have messed up when they first started booking Carmelo Hayes, but they've now got that under control. So when they do their job right, but yeah, no, Trick is going to be good. It was a good match, but no, Ray Phoenix, unfortunately, and Penta's the same way. They came in, they had the hype, they were getting all the big matches, and now all of a sudden they're just another guy it's a Dragon Lee, a Rey Mysterio, an accident. It's just another guy in a mask who does the flippy moves and elusive. They're getting just lumped in with everybody. Ray Phoenix and Penta, they, in my opinion, should have stayed with AEW. I think their booking would have been better, and there wasn't as many mass, guys like them there. In WWE, they're just, as you say, WWE-ized.
Right.
But they're just kind of getting lost in the shuffle of all the other mass wrestlers.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I said the same thing about they gave him the name Keys.
Royce Keys.
Yeah, Royce Keys, who
Powerhouse Hobbs,
AEW. I first made the comment that I think there was a bad decision, but as I came back and said after I watched a video of him, and it may be the same for Ray Phoenix and his brother Penta, that this at this point in their career, it may not be about getting titles, win losses. The fact that they obtained a dream, which is being part of WWE, that may be good enough for them as far as we know.
Which is something you and I have talked about. It's that they can say they went to the WWE. Royce Keys, though, and I was listening to Jim Cornette talk about this on his podcast. And unfortunately, Cornette did not do an entire Raw recap. He only talked about the Roman Reigns CM Punk conversation, and he talked about like the opening segment. I wanted to get his opinion on how they debuted Obafemi on Raw to see where he lied in our debate. And he didn't even talk about it, so I was a little disappointed.
Right.
But he made a comment on his Rumble thing, though. They had him out in Saudi Arabia. It says Powerhouse Hobbs, the ball breaks, Royce Keys comes out. The audience had no reaction because AEW isn't as big in Saudi Arabia. The fans didn't know who Powerhouse Hobbs was. They don't know who this guy is. So his question is, why did they waste a debut of a guy who could be something in Saudi Arabia where nobody knows who he is? Nobody fucking knows who he is. over in Saudi Arabia, and they wasted it. And now we haven't seen him on TV in 2 weeks.
Right.
They haven't put him on SmackDown. They haven't put him on Raw. There's been no video segment, no nothing. We haven't seen anything.
Right.
So they might have killed it before he even started.
Right. I agree. And, you know, I think Powerhouse Hobbs or Royce Keys, whatever you guys want to call them, and I hate, I'm going to compare them to somebody, and I know professional wrestlers say they compare. They don't want to be the next whatever. They want to be today's, you know, Royce Keys. But us fans, we do it because we see whatever in them. You know, and I think Royce Keys could be today's Batista on WWE. I really do. He reminds me a little bit of Batista. His moveset, his power, yeah. And I agree with Jim Cornette. I think that WWE may have wasted that, you know, his debut. Now, look, not by any means is it too late for Royce Keys. Just because WWE blew that debut doesn't mean that when he debuts here in the United States that he's not going to get a massive pop, and doesn't mean that he's not going to go on to do big things in WWE. The problem is, as great as it is that Hobbs made it to WWE, the question is, what will WWE do with him? Because in many ways, man, and you may tell me if you disagree or not, in many ways, as much as your success is in your hands, it's also in the hands of creative in WWE and how they book you. So
yeah,
that's kind of where we're at right now with him, because as you said, they haven't debuted him. We haven't seen him in 2 weeks. Now, here's a question for you. Is it one of those things that they realized they fucked up on that debut because of the way they debuted him, and they're kind of keeping him off TV for now to now gain that excitement, so that when they do debut him here in the United States, it's big? Maybe. Or is it the typical WWE? Yeah, we debuted you, but now we just don't have anything for you.
It could go either way. I would love to see maybe not even like a re-debut, but like you said, keep him off for a couple weeks, something come up, and then all of a sudden you see the graphic, maybe even use the Powerhouse Hobbs graphic again. Right. And then blow it up and Royce Keys comes out. Give him that second opportunity. Debuting him in Saudi Arabia, I even thought it was odd when he first did it, because I'm like, why would you debut? And the problem with Royce Keys is the way I look at it right now. Royce Keys is coming in, but they've also brought up Javon Evans. They brought up Trick Williams. Now, granted, they have a different style than Royce Keys. So, you know, he's more of a powerhouse guy. Guess what? So is Obafemi. And Obafemi is, we've said it before, is just that guy that's just, I don't see how they can fail with Obafemi. So they can't push Powerhouse Hobbs as the huge monster powerhouse because they got Obafemi. Can they push him as this, you know, hot shot black athlete? No, they got Javon Evans and Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. So unfortunately, I don't know how they can present him to make him something unique, other than he's just going to be it's another guy. And I'm not saying that in any racial terms. I'm just saying he's debuting at the same time as a lot of other guys. And we've also heard the storyline, and no, there is no issue with it. They've said is that Powerhouse Hobbs Royce Keys, he's 41 years old. And he's going up against like Javon Evans, these guys who are in their 20s. I mean, I don't know how old Obafemi is, but younger than 41, I believe, obviously. But
this is what I'm afraid of.
He's got the age factor too.
Yeah, this is what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid, talking about, you brought up Obafemi. I'm afraid that they're going to use Powerhouse Hobbs as possibly one of Obafemi's tougher, bigger opponents, to have Obafemi run through him.
They're going to feed him. Yeah, I could see that happening.
Man, if they do that, oh, fuck. Now, I know, right, and again, keyword fans, because Kevin KG said this. Keyword is rumor. Rumor, non-confirmed yet. But everyone thought that there was a possibility, speaking of Obafemi again, that WrestleMania, it would be Brock Lesnar and Obafemi, but it's being reported by some, again, not confirmed yet, that it's been in the works since January, that actually they're going to do Brock Lesnar versus LA Knight.
I'm hearing that now. I wouldn't mind
What
seeing
sense would that
match.
make? That would make no sense though, because well, you know what? Maybe it would, and I'll tell you why. I can see them doing this. It just clicked. LA Knight is deep in this storyline with the Vision with Paul Heyman. Now, although Brock Lesnar's not in the Vision, him and Paul Heyman, that's his guy.
Mm-hmm.
I can see them doing a storyline that Paul Heyman brings in Brock Lesnar to get rid of LA Knight because Paul Heyman is so fed up with LA Knight interfering and causing him problems. That is how I see them kind of connecting of how this match would come.
I could see that. And we've seen Brock against a guy like, Seth Rollins. So we've seen guys smaller that are more LA Knight size go up against Brock Lesnar and actually have, decent matches. So, I mean, I would have no issue with an LA Knight match because he's one of those guys that no matter what they do, the fans still love the guy. He comes out, they pop, LA Knight. Yeah, they do all of it. No matter how they book him or what they're trying to do to book him, they can't get the fans to not support LA Knight. I'm not saying that's what they want to do, but the fans are just supporting him no matter what he does. He comes out, he could come out and wrestle some bullshit match, and the fans are still going to cheer for him.
No, absolutely. But here's the question, though. Will WWE do what they did with John Cena because they're trying to keep Brock Lesnar as this monster, so they can build up other talent, where they want this other talent to be these guys that are almost unstoppable as well. So they're going to use Brock Lesnar to make him that way. Will they use Brock Lesnar to just run through LA Knight, though? Because that would hurt. I don't know if it's going to hurt LA Knight or not. I think the fans will still love him, but it won't do anything for his career as far as will he ever get that title shot. But on the flip side of that, if they would have LA Knight indeed beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, how can they not give him that title shot that everyone wants to see him get finally? So
yeah, the booking of LA Knight could be different. But like I said, we've also heard that he might face Oba Femi. I don't know if Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi is the right idea.
I don't
because does Oba go over and make Brock look like beatable? Does Brock go over and kind of kill some of Oba Femi's mystique?
So the thing with that, the only thing I can figure with that is if that did indeed happen, that would be if they have Oba going over Brock Lesnar. That'd be Brock Lesnar passing the torch of you're the new monster, right? Now I can see them doing that because again, and guys, it's not confirmed, but it is a rumor that SummerSlam, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Brock Lesnar's going to be having his last match. And once again, it's going to be against the guy they've been using, Gunther.
Gunther would get to retire another guy.
Right. So if that is true, say that's true. If that's true, it would make sense for them to have Femi beat Brock Lesnar because that torch needs to be passed. So Oba is that new monster now.
Or do they save the SummerSlam match for Oba to build up to it and give Oba that win?
I would prefer that. Honestly, I would prefer that than a Gunther retirement match with Brock, to be honest.
You know what? It just kind of came ahead. You know what I'd almost like to see is they go at the two big hosses beating. Oba gets that win, and then Brock just kind of goes, okay. Not to shake hands,
right?
Give the fist bump, and Brock go, yeah, you beat my ass. I liked it.
Yeah.
And they just go and walk out. That's what I kind of, it just popped in my head. That's what I kind of like to see.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad either.
Not a handshake. We don't want Brock to be like that, but I'd like to see a fist bump going, dude, that was fun. Yeah.
And speaking of something that I thought I liked and I wanted to see, but I kind of thought it was a bad idea, and we'll get into it right now, was the Jade Cargill versus Jordan Grace title match. Now, as the announcer was introducing Jade Cargill, we heard Liv music hit, fans popped, out comes Liv, Dom, and Raquel Rodriguez. And Liv said a couple of words, but what really kind of caught my attention that kind of made me laugh a little bit was Dom saying that it's Valentine's Day. Show my lady to a date, to a dinner, and a show. So they bring him to the table that has fucking chicken nuggets on it. I love the champagne with Dom's
chicken
face
nuggets.
on it. The reason why at first I laughed, I was like, this is great. Then I changed my mind and I thought, oh, is this a bad idea? Is because it took eyes in a way off this match by the fans that were there. We heard the fans chanting more about Dom and Liv than the actual match. Now, Bob Cook's going to disagree with me, and I'm sorry, Bob, but it's the truth. You don't think that Dom is over? This guy is over. When he goes to talk, he still gets booed out of the building, but yet when he's there, just sitting there watching the match, the fans are chanting Dirty Dom. This Dom Mysterio is probably one of the hottest talents they have on WWE right now. He really
There's a reason why he got most hated in PWI 2 years in a row.
Right.
And I've said in past shows that as much as they hate him now, a few years down the road, they're gonna love him just as much.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, he's this generation's like Eddie Guerrero. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but eventually he's gonna come out and he's gonna be doing it. The fans are gonna love him. Because they hated Eddie at first, and then at the end, everybody loved Eddie. Dom's going to be like a huge baby face.
Absolutely.
I don't see why he couldn't. He could very well get that title at some point.
Look,
I don't know who he would have to beat to do it because it would have to be believable. But
when you have a heel that draws that much heat, then no, there's always the exception to the rule. But normally, when they do turn to that baby face, my God, that's huge. And I think that once Dom turns to that baby face, he's going to be that guy that's going to probably be that baby face for a very, very long time. I think that when his career's over with, that he will have been a baby face much more than he ever was a heel. Because I think at some point, Dom's going to be their number one baby face. I really do.
Oh, I've said that for a long time. As much as they hate him now, they're going to love him even more later.
And I know a lot of people like to talk about his size, but look, and I don't know why people don't remember this. If you do a comparison at the same time Rey was Dom's age, right? Rey Mysterio was a little guy. He wasn't that big. It was much later on after he left WCW, matter of fact, before he gained that muscle. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, Grizzled, but we didn't see that jacked Rey Mysterio until after he actually left WWE for a few years and then came back.
Yeah, when he came back, he was more. When he first went WWE, yeah, it was still a little,
Yeah,
little weight guy. So.
That's why it looked so devastating when the NWO first formed and they used him as a long dart and threw him into the trailer.
Yeah, because he was little.
Yeah.
He dove on the Nash, and Nash just caught him and, threw him.
Right.
He was a little guy back then.
No,
but
I'm not
Ray
saying
beat
that...
big guys, and Ray won the world title as little as he was.
Right. Yeah. And so I'm not saying that Dom is going to absolutely be like his dad, and in a few years we see him jacked. Maybe not. Maybe that's not what he wants to do. But maybe so. My point is that I wouldn't get down on Dom because of his size, because again, he's over. His guy is so over with the fans.
Yeah, and he could use some muscle, but Dom's a pretty tall dude. Obviously taller than his dad.
When Dom Mysterio beat the Big Show for the world title, Rey Mysterio. Yeah, Rey Mysterio, was not jacked yet. He was still somewhat small. Any other small guy, it would have been not believable. Because it was Rey Mysterio, though, it was believable. So I think Dom falls into that category. And I think as he gets a little bit older, more experienced, he's really going to fall into that category. And again, I think that he is that guy that is going to take that spot. I really do. As a matter of fact, tonight I was even thinking to myself before Dom came out about that, because there's been talks about WWE not really preparing and creating that next big star, right? I disagree. I think he's going to be Dom.
Yeah. Look at us agreeing this shit. Nobody here to see it. God damn it.
Well, now we go to the match. Look, the match is exactly what I thought it was going to be. Somewhat hard-hitting, two bigger ladies, right? Mm-hmm. Was it a match that I would say was great, that I would call up my friends on the phone and say, you guys got to turn SmackDown and watch? No, I honestly, for myself, I wouldn't. But at the same time, was it a match that I would get up on here and tell people that they shouldn't have even had that match? Absolutely not. I think it was fine. You know, it wasn't the best match. It wasn't the worst match by any means, in my opinion.
It could have been better. It could have been better. And I'm not saying Jordan should have won. Say that. I'm not saying Jordan should have won. I'm saying the match could have been better.
But some have been saying recently, professional wrestlers seem to have two sides of them. One, the weekly match that you see on TV, and then the pay-per-view or PLE matches. I've gotten to the point now that, and I could be dead wrong, so I wish Bob or Robbie's on here, but I think that professional wrestlers don't want to give away those special matches that they have in them, because they want to save that for the PLEs, because they go out, Jade Cargill and Jordynne Grace, and have that amazing holy shit match. Well, what's left for them to have at a PLE? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got a point. You got a point. I still think this match could have been a little bit better, though.
Right.
A little more, but it was what it was. I'm not saying it's not my favorite match of the night. I still think that's gonna be Trick and Ray. I still think that's gonna be my match of the night. But
right. By the way, Trick Williams won that match.
Yes.
You want to, something else I thought about watching, going back to the Trick Williams Ray match that I was talking about. I hear so many people dogging on AEW all the time because they have so many false finishes. Trick Williams and Ray Phoenix tonight was the match of false finishes.
Yeah, they had a lot of them.
Yep. Doesn't take away from the fact it was a great match. I didn't even mind them. I'm just wanting to point that out. What surprised me about the Jade Cargill and Jordynne Grace match, though, was all it took was Jade's finisher one time.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the thing that kind of irked me a little.
Yeah. And on top of it, with one arm.
Yeah, that's kind of what issue. Like I said,
it kind of made Jordynne Grace a little weak.
It could have been a better match.
Yeah, I agree. On those terms, absolutely. Jade Cargill then tells Liv Morgan, she goes outside the ring after the match to her face and says that what she just saw will be her at WrestleMania if she chooses her, which we know that Liv Morgan's not choosing her. Liv Morgan is going to choose Stephanie McCurdy because we're going to see Raquel Rodriguez involved in some way, somehow, in that match.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Next, we go to Nick Aldis in his office backstage, trying to sell a SmackDown contract to Obafemi. When Kit Wilson walks in again to read poetry, Aldis is annoyed with his interruption, so he takes his book and finds a poem about Obafemi at a bookmark. After hearing the insulting poem, Obafemi suggests they sort out their issues next week in a match. This is what bothered me about this. Why? Is my question. Why set it up? Well, let's see this next week. Usually when they set up matches for next week, it's to have fans tune in next week to see a match, right? A great match. We already seen Obafemi beat the shit out of Kip Wilson in a matter of seconds. So what next week? Honestly, by next week, I'm going to have forgotten that this match is going to even supposed to take place because it's not something that I'm going to remember because there's nothing that excites me. Grizzled?
Well, no, it didn't need to be next week, but it's obvious now they can go with the, Kit's prepared this time. He'll know who's coming. He wasn't ready for
Right.
last time. This is what I meant, though, about the 2 segments. You didn't need 2 segments. They didn't need to have the comedy segment with Damien, and that was just for R-Truth to do his thing. Right. They could have had Nick in the back. He's talking. Kit Wilson comes in. Like he's going to read a poem, and Nick goes, let me read a poem for you. And then he takes the book, and then he reads a poem for... He could have said, I have poetry, yada, yada, yada. And then they could have combined the 2, eliminated Damien and R-Truth comedy bit, use the comedy bit for the poem with Obafemi, and have Obafemi just go, okay, next week I'm gonna beat your ass. Right. Plain and simple. We don't need 2 Kit Wilson segments in one show.
Yeah, I agree. Next, we go to Drew McIntyre. I had a little bit of issue with this, and I'll get to it right away. He talks about the Elimination Chamber match. When he talks about Randy Orton, he says Randy Orton is the one that he can't win the big win. And you got to come to the hard stop here. Because Randy Orton is what, a 10-time world champion?
I believe so, yes.
To me, I think that was whoever wrote this was a miscue on their part. Yeah, I can see you saying that, Sami Zayn is the one that can't win the big one. But to say Randy Orton can't win the big one, that was just a little dumb. He then says LA Knight is a catchphrase merchant. Neither of them wants any of this. Cody Rhodes will be nowhere near his title or the main event of WrestleMania. And as for Jacob Fatu, he has spent the most time behind bars, so he should feel at home. And then there's Sami Zayn, who interrupts. What he was going to say, Drew tells Sami, was that a big part of him tonight wants Sami to win because he's a good man. I'm going to be honest with you, they swerved me a little bit tonight because I thought that gave away what was going to happen. My brain instantly went, well, holy shit, maybe they will have Sami qualify for the Elimination Chamber match. And maybe they're going to have Sami Zayn actually win the Elimination Chamber, having Drew against Sami. Drew is going to overlook him because he's beaten him 12 times. But not only will Sami Zayn finally get the title, he's going to do it at WrestleMania, have his WrestleMania moment. That's where my brain went to. I had it all figured out, Grizzle, all figured out. But then the match happened.
That was kind of what I was saying last week on a recap thing.
Yeah.
I was seeing Sami win and then go on. Yeah, no, we have the same. We are agreeing tonight. It must be the Valentine's Day thing, We're feeling the well, we're not feeling anything, but
next we go to the match. Jacob Fatu versus Cody Rhodes versus Sami Zayn. Good, exciting match. Drew McIntyre interferes, takes out Jacob Fatu with a Claymore kick. As Jacob Fatu was covering Sami Zayn, I believe.
Mm.
And then Cody Rhodes attacks Drew. Drew takes Cody Rhodes out. And then Sami Zayn realizes what's happening and hits your boy Sami, who's trying to help him, with his kick. Only for Cody to catch Sami for the 1, 2, 3. And there's one thing, first off, there's a couple of things I want to say. The first thing is, when Sami Zayn hit Cody Rhodes with the Blue Thunder Bomb, color commentary, can't believe Cody Rhodes kicked out of it. How many times have he... When was the last time you seen fucking Sami Zayn get a win off the Blue Thunder Bomb?
Blue Thunder Bomb, yeah, no.
Number one. Number two, Joe is normally the guy that's kind of calm. he got out of the box tonight. He was like, and I'm like, dude, calm the fuck down. He was just everywhere. I didn't like it. No. Your thoughts on the match, your thoughts on color commentary, and also your thoughts on the winner. By the way, the crowd had me confused tonight because they didn't want Cody to win. They booed Cody when they thought Cody was going to take it. They booed Sami Zayn when they thought Sami Zayn was going to take it. And they booed fucking Fatu, too. Who did the fans want to see win tonight? I was so confused.
I don't think they wanted to see anybody almost. I swear to God. No, the match wasn't that great either. It was your typical, these two do a spot while the third person's out. Third person comes back in, does a spot or two with somebody while the other person's out. And then, they're going for the pin. Oh, no, here he comes in to make the save. It was your typical. The exploder that Sami did, it looked like he dropped Cody on his fucking head. And then when Jacob hit the super kick, he missed that super kick by a fucking mile. My wife was watching it with me and even said, he missed that. I'm like, yeah. Jacob whiffed that kick. And I was like, I think they were getting a little tired, kind of misstepped, whatever. But yeah, match wasn't great. But why does Drew McIntyre? Okay, it's Royal Rumble. And Drew McIntyre interferes and takes out Cody. Right. And it's and Drew McIntyre interferes and kick. Oh, good fucking Christ. And so far, the Elimination Chamber goes. We obviously know it's CM Punk and Reigns. So nobody on the Raw side is going to win this thing. So it's not going to be LA Knight. It's not going to be whoever else is qualified over there. It's going to be somebody on the SmackDown side. And I think we just saw who's going to win the Elimination Chamber unless they do something different, which they're not going to. Right. And I don't want to see Cody and Drew at WrestleMania because we should have seen the end of this with the 3 stages of hell.
Yes, I agree.
Drew keeps interfering in is he going to interfere in the Elimination Chamber? He's interfering in everything.
But there has to be a way that they're going to Fatu has to be interjected into this match. First, have a 3-way, some way, somehow. That's the only way, in my opinion, this match can be saved. Because, look, it's WrestleMania. If it is indeed Cody versus Drew, do I think they're both will be performing at the next level? Probably making it even a better match than what we've seen between the two. That wouldn't surprise me. The point is, though, it doesn't matter how great it is. I don't want to see it.
We've seen it too many times.
Right. The only way they can save it, in my opinion, is to interject Fatu. But let's go back to Sami Zayn for a second.
Okay.
The way Cody Rhodes kind of against a match, every man for himself. What Cody did was perfectly fine, but in the eyes of Sami Zayn is, dude, you fucked me because I took off the guy who was attacking you, and you still kind of attacked me from behind and pinned me the way you did. Do you think that this is the seeds being planted for Sami Zayn to actually, we're about to see him turn heel?
No.
You don't think so? Because the way he looked at Drew McIntyre, when Drew McIntyre said, "You're a good man," was kind of this look of, finally someone gives me respect. Finally someone gives me a little bit of fucking respect. And it's not Fatu, it's not Cody, it's fucking Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I just don't see a Sami heel turn. I just don't. Sammy's just, everybody loves Sami no matter what. He's always the underdog and everybody loves that. So I don't see a heel turn. I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not an expert. I just don't see it. Well, nor do I care for it. We already seen Sammy's heel one time, and he was a conspiracy theorist, whatever, who faced Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania, which was a good match, by the way.
It was, but this is the thing, Grizzle. I'm a heel guy. I love heels. But
sure you do.
Sami Zayn is one of the guys that I actually prefer to see as a babyface. I don't like him as a heel because for me, it's not believable. It's kind of like Jungle Boy on AEW where they try to turn him heel. It's not believable. He just looks too much like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn falls in that category for me. It's just not believable for him to be a heel. So I agree with you. Fuck. That leaves a bad taste in my mouth because
I know we're agreeing with you a lot tonight. So,
I want Sami to stay that baby face. And look, if you're going to constantly keep on pushing Sami onto us, then fucking give him the title.
Mm-hmm.
At least give him the reason why we do see so much of him now. Put the fucking title on him, for the love of God. Or keep him off of TV for a while so if you can start to miss him again, maybe add a little bit more something to his character and then bring him back.
I think part of the problem with Sami is kind of packaging.
Right.
Because whether he's a heel, whether he's a face, what's the one constant? Whoa, let's go. And the fans love it. A heel should not be coming out to something that you can do a ska dance to.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't fit when he's a heel to come out to the let's go and the fans can chant along and sing and dance to it. That theme music works as a face, but if he's a heel, he needs something a little meaner, menacing, not something where you hear it and go, let's go, and start dancing.
You know what?
Right off the bat, it just, you can't boo Sami because you're having too much fun dancing to his song.
Yeah. With Sami Zayn, again, I think that nothing would fit him. And, with talking about fans today and how they sing along to the music, one thing that aggravates me about today's fans versus fans of the young years, fans, whenever I was a kid watching fans, is it seems like in today's professional wrestling, fans decide whether or not they're going to like you or not based upon how interactive your music is. And that bugs me. Because instead of, no, it should be, what is he? Look, if he's a dirty son of a bitch in a ring, he should get booed. No, but you know what? Sami Zayn may be a piece of crap right now. His character, talk about back when he was a heel. Crazy conspiracy theorists. But we're going to cheer him because we like his music. That just gets under my skin, man. Today's fans, still the greatest fans of any sport. Don't get me wrong, guys. You guys really are. But you guys also are some of the worst miserable motherfuckers of any fans in today's sports, and you just don't make sense to me.
I can agree. But yeah, the music is part of the packaging, and Sami's packaging is just wrong as a heel if he's still coming out to that. But that is what it is.
Back during the days, the 80s, the 90s, when you and I were younger, watching what we watch, I'm going to be honest with you though. Whenever I seen a Ric Flair go from babyface to heel, which wasn't very often because he was mostly a heel, or other guys, their music never changed. But the music back then, it was such, I'm not going to say bland, but it was just kind of one-dimensional maybe, where there wasn't any interaction. So the music could go either for babyface.
Well, yeah, it was more presentation than it was.
Right.
Song and dance, stuff like that. So, and you said Ric Flair. Well, come on, dude. The theme from 2000. That's just whether he's a heel. If he's a heel, you hear it, and you go, "Oh fuck you, you're not that great." But if he's a babyface, you hear that music, you're like, "Yeah, you're the greatest, Rick." It fits.
No, you're right. I was just pulling that out my ass just to think of somebody. But I'm going to talk to you about something that your mouth is about to drop. You're about to be like, "What the fuck is there? Full moon? Is this?" This is the KG. So last night, watching some interviews. I like to watch interviews with different professional wrestlers because as someone who I've been interviewing a lot of people, I want to get better. And the only way I'm going to get better is if I'm studying how other people do great interviews. And I came across an interview of a guy that I've been talking a lot of shit about that I just didn't like. I'm not saying he's not talented. Just don't like him for whatever reason. That's Joe Hendry. And I actually left it on. And I listened to the interview. And I'm going to tell you, honest to God, after listening to this interview, just because of how he came across as he's just this nice, sincere guy that truly loves professional wrestling, he made a little bit of a fan out of me. True story.
Wow. Impressive.
Yeah, it was a great interview. Another great interview I came across was MJF. He did a great interview last night. I put it on my Facebook page, guys. I encourage you to go watch
Was
it.
that him with Chris Van Vliet?
Yes.
Yeah, I watched that last night. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I love how he played off the original interview.
Yes.
I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Never happened.
Yeah. What I liked about it was, he was a lot of the other interviews you watch MJF, it was strictly kayfabe, right? He was playing his character. This interview, although there was a little bit of kayfabe in there, he was still that little bit of the heel. At the same time, it was more of a shoot interview. He was a little bit more sincere with his answers. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I encourage you guys to go and watch this. Would you give SmackDown Great Rise overall?
Yeah. I'll give it a B-.
Wow. Fuck no shit.
I'll give it a B-. They stuck to storylines, they advanced storylines.
Right.
There wasn't enough negative to outweigh what I thought was the positive, Ray and Trick, things like that. So I'll give it a B- on this one.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to give it. It's a B- myself. Now, last night, we normally talk about history after the recaps. And I know this next week on Thursday, you want to talk about, I think, masked wrestlers.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some masked guys, some lucha, some lucha stuff, things like that, yes.
My number one guy was Mr. Wrestler number 2. Always will be.
Mr. Wrestling number 2, yes.
Loved him. But is there any other things in wrestling that you want to mention tonight? Anything that happened in wrestling?
Well, you brought it up. You wrote about it on there. And by the way, folks, if you want to see some of the writings of Mr. KG Landry, you can go to getyourbellrung.blogspot.com, where we compile everything that's worthy of attention to into one spot, so you don't have to search through all the other posts on the Facebook page. It's all there in one, easy to read, very well formatted, very professionally put together. Yes, I'm the one who does all that product. And we want to get those people reading it, because we start building up our numbers, we can start putting in AdSense and make a few cents.
Yes. Absolutely.
But you mentioned it, and it's kind of been a subject, and I was reading some more about it just before we came on the air today, is WrestleMania 42. It's 42, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. WrestleMania 42. They're having ticket sale issues.
Yep.
They're at the point where they are offering, I'm reading now, there's discounted ticket options available now. You can't, venues around 50 miles, within 50 miles of the venue, can't have watch parties. So bars, clubs, casinos, can't do that because they want people in the building, which I think is bullshit. You know, if you're in Vegas, you can't afford the $500, you bleed out your asshole seat. You're up so high in the air. Okay, you should be able to go to the place where you can go, okay, I paid $20 for a cover, 2-drink minimum, and I can watch show with some other fans. I think it's bullshit that they're cutting that part out.
Well, let me stop you for a second with that. Normally I have that. You know what? It's business. I get it. But I agree with you with this, because this is absolutely fucking greed, and this is treating the fans like shit. Because there are a lot of fans out there, people in Vegas, who probably can't afford to go to WrestleMania, right?
Right.
But they look, they were looking forward to being able to go to their local bars or go somewhere where they're going to have WrestleMania, so they can at least, we wasn't there live, but we were still part of it because we did this, have this memory. And I think it's shitty because you're stealing moments away from fans. Go ahead.
Right. And if you're going, you can't air it, which means the person can't pay their $20, that doesn't mean that person's going to go, oh, well, shit, I can't go to the casino and watch for $20 and have a couple drinks and some hors d'oeuvres. Well, fuck, all right, I'm going to pay the $1,000 and go to Maine. No, that's not how it's going to work. You're not making any more money. You're just not letting somebody watch the product, which kind of can leave a sour taste. And yes, business, it's all about the money. I hate it. I have to agree with it. I understand it. I don't like it. Because, you know, there might be a group of 8 or 9 people that are like, hey, we're going to go to the RHIYO Hotel or wherever, or Plaza Hotel or whatever one there. They're going to go there because, you know, the casinos will show it on like one of their lounge TV or something like that. Because people are going to buy drinks. They're going to buy hors. It increases the economy. It brings in people. And here's the thing. Las Vegas paid for WrestleMania to be there. And WrestleMania is going, fuck you, Las Vegas. If they're not coming to our arena, they're not going to go spend money at your places either.
Yeah. You know, what you said is exactly right. If someone is going to one of the parties and they've not bought tickets to go to WrestleMania, it's because exactly what you said, they probably can't fucking afford it. Now, I want to tell me if you agree or not. True or false? And guys, this is just my opinion, obviously. And this is just be Grizzled's opinion because we're not Vince McMahon. We don't know what the fuck's in his head. But I truly believe that this is one of the things that Vince McMahon would have never done when it came to the fans. Because as much as he's a businessman, as much as he loved the money, I think he still respected the business and he understood who the fans were.
I think Vince knew this is a family product and would not, excuse me, take it away from the families. I agree with that.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong.
This is a TKO.
Right. And I was going to say, don't get me wrong. I am not by any means saying that Vince McMahon should be back. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I think under Vince McMahon, though, this happened. But the what, though? Let's play devil's. You have to be fair, and you have to play devil's advocate at the same time. We're saying all of this. We're talking about the prices of your normal fans not being able to afford it. But I'll be goddamn if they're not packing the places out. Although this year, though, it seems it is a little different because they are having some problems with selling those tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is my question. We know that WrestleMania was supposed to be, I can't remember a state that originally.
New Orleans, supposed to be in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah, New Orleans. Supposed to be New Orleans this year, right? And of course, they bring it back to Vegas because of they set numbers and the number of because of the amount of money they made. Do you think that if they were still going to New Orleans? Again, this is just strictly opinion. There's no way we'll ever know. But do you think that they'd still be struggling with ticket sales?
I don't think so, because obviously they're not going to need to pack a huge arena as Vegas in New Orleans. And they'd already announced New Orleans before Mania, but then they saw all the money Mania brought in. And here's the other funny part about this. Las Vegas saw all the money that WrestleMania brought in and went, well, shit. Let's make a little deal here. We want to bring it back. Hey, here's some money. Here, we're going to grease this. So they're like, yeah, we're going to take this. Okay, New Orleans, we're going to go back to Vegas. And then they get to Vegas, and now they're telling Vegas, well, thanks for the money, but you're not going to make shit, like I just said.
Right. And that was my question.
Was because it increased the economy, and there was money being made in Vegas. Now there's not money being made in Vegas. There's money being made for TKO. So Vegas kind of almost looks like they took it in the ass on this one.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I would love to have been a fly on the wall when this was announced because, again, you have all of these casinos there that, yes, they probably would have had on TV, probably even would have charged, maybe cover charge to bring in extra, revenue because Vegas has been down when it comes to tourism here lately.
Mm-hmm.
I have to imagine that a lot of these people were pissed off and not happy with WWE. I mean, there has to be a reason why they decided to do this. And I agree with you. This was TKO doing this. I don't think that this was WWE. I definitely don't think that this was Triple H. Unfortunately, Triple H is going to be the one that's going to get blamed for it because he's the face of the company. But besides money, I mean, what possible reason can the motivation be, you think?
It all goes down to money. They set off a huge show last year. People got greedy and thought, fuck, we did it this year. Let's do it next year. And now it's not happening. And WWE is kind of like, well, shit, nobody's buying the, well, fuck. One, because ticket prices this year are more expensive than last year. They raised those ticket prices. The people that went last year went, well, shit. It's the thing. It comes down to the ticket prices. And here's the sad thing. I think it was Bob who mentioned this, right? They probably sold what, 70,000 tickets so far, maybe?
Yeah.
75,000 tickets?
Yep.
And they're going, shit, we need to sell more tickets.
Yep.
Dude, not even just back in the day, but just a few years ago, a 75,000 person house. And the promoters are like, oh, holy shit, we're dancing a jig. They're having sex with their wives and rolling around in money. Now there's 75,000 seats sold. They're going, shit, we gotta figure out. We're panicking. We're running. In what world is it?
Right.
In what world is that an issue?
Yeah, I agree. Do you think that we may see people come, maybe not out of retirement, but start to hear announcements or rumblings, at least, of people showing up to get those ticket sales? Like, for instance, maybe a Stone Cold Steve Austin, maybe a Rock will make an appearance. But even so, with two big names like that, do you think that's big enough to get those tickets sold?
I don't think so. I don't think, because it's just going to look like, oh, come see Stone Cold Steve Austin. I saw him a couple years ago. You know, I saw Austin in Dallas, Texas. They're not going to make me want to go to Vegas to go see him now. Come see The Rock. I think after The Rock's last year with Cody Rhodes and John Cena, and I think The Rock pretty much killed any build he's got.
Possibly.
But also part of the problem is, and this is another issue, is kind of this thing. Okay, original plans for Mania were supposed to be Roman. Roman was supposed to win the Rumble, is what I'm understanding. And it was going to be Roman versus Seth as the world champion. Seth got hurt. Okay, we're gonna go.
Wait, time out. You're talking about this past Royal Rumble?
This one that Roman was
supposed to
maybe Roman was supposed to win the Rumble, but Roman versus Seth was supposed to be one of the title matches.
Okay. Because what I originally heard was that it was supposed to be Braun Breaker that was going to win it, but because of that injury, that's why he was taken out so quickly.
But now
I don't know if that's true or not.
Now they've said that Braun did the hernia when he flipped over that announce table, which was 2 days after.
Yeah, there you go.
So we don't know. So anyways, Roman versus Seth was supposed to have been one of the title matches.
Yeah.
Seth got injured. Okay, so we're gonna put Punk in there. Okay, fine. That's fine. Then we're gonna do this. And now this injury happens. They don't have a set card. We know we have Roman versus CM Punk, but that's not gonna, they can't base a whole 2-night show on just Roman versus. It's going to be a great match.
Right.
But the problem is they keep having to show. Okay, we're going to put Braun Breaker in there. Braun Breaker versus Braun Breaker. We're going to push Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker. We'll bring in Seth. By then, Seth Rollins back. We're going to have Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins. Going to be great. Oh, no, Braun Breaker's injured. Well, shit.
Right.
So if they were planning on bringing back Seth Rollins, now they kind of don't have a story reason for him unless they put Logan Paul or somebody. But that wouldn't make sense because it was Braun Breaker who took out Seth Rollins.
Right.
Part of the problem is they're having to shuffle the cards so much due to injury and things like that too, that they don't really have it's kind of a funky WrestleMania because you don't really have anything to market yet.
Right. Yeah. Now, going back to all the restrictions WWE is doing rather in Vegas, Rudy Gonzalez, who, by the way, guys, was on the podcast. Great guy. If you don't know who that is.
Rudy, all right.
Yeah, Rudy's a good fresh wrestler. And as well as he helped train a lot of people with Shawn Michaels at wrestling school.
He was the trainer at Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy, yes.
Yep. Rudy made the comment, and I agree with him. It's a matter of time before WWE even they stop allowing these indie shows from doing all these shows during WrestleMania week. which would be bullshit as well. Because again, a lot of these guys on the indie scenes, man, that's big time for them because they attract more people during that time. And I think that, you know, if that happens, yeah, it's just TKO is just fucking greedy.
See, I don't see that. I don't know if that can happen though, because unless they're running an indie show specifically, if you're running a show during WrestleMania, like Saturday WrestleMania or Sunday,
well, that would just be dumb business.
Well, yeah. But I'm saying, unless it directly affects, I don't know if they can, because I don't think WWE and TKO have the ability to go to everybody in the surrounding area and say, hey, don't book any wrestling.
Right.
Don't book any entertainment for your business because we're in town. That business is going to be like, well, you're not bringing us any business. This is. So I don't know how that works. I don't know if that works. But 2 years they were here in recently in Texas, 2016, and then 22, 21, somewhere in there. I was out here both times. I came out here before I moved out here in 2016. We did the NWA Parade of Champions with ISWE. And then the second time they were here, just a couple years ago, we did a Mania night thing, and we did it at a place, it's called the Ridgely Theater. And a lot of places were looking at indie groups to go, hey, come in. Because they knew, okay, WrestleMania is in town, fans are in town, they're going to want something to do for those couple days that there's not anything happening. Right. So we were the first show both years to run before Mania. And we had decent crowds. I mean, we had like 600-700 people at each show, you know, both years. So not great numbers, but pretty good for an indie thing. Yeah. But we didn't run against like an autograph signing. We didn't run against a meet and greet. You don't run against it. If you just run that week knowing, okay, there's going to be fans in town, well, shit, that's your prerogative as a business. You can book whatever entertainment you want. I don't think WWE can say that because that's, I almost want to say that's kind of illegal because that's restricting someone from running a business. And I don't think they can tell them that.
Right. I don't know.
I think they can tell him you can't book anybody and say former WWE superstar or whatever. Maybe they can do things like that, and you would have to book just indie talent.
Right.
But if you're a fan in town, you're like, well, shit, what am I going to do in, you know, Vegas for a couple days? And oh, what's this show over here at the you know, the Loosey Goose Club? Oh,
Loosey Goose.
$20 ticket. Ah, cool. I'll go check it out. Fuck, I ain't doing anything else. Why not? Not gonna hurt WWE because they're not running anything that night.
Right. Well, we'll see what's, you know, time will tell what's going to happen. Let's end tonight though with some good news. Former WWE wrestler Jazz announced that she is now part of the WWE Performance Center coaching staff. Man, look, that is a major win for the women's division.
Oh, hell yeah, it is.
It is. I had the honor and privilege of meeting Jazz in August in Vegas.
I'm a little jealous. I've never gotten a chance to meet Jazz. I know Rodney. I know her husband. I know Rodney. Have you ever met Rodney?
No.
You ever met? Rodney is the most awesome guy. Rodney actually showed me how to do a couple things, and I did some promo stuff for some shows that we were on, and I actually got to do some backstage vignettes with him, stuff like that. Rodney taught me some things. I love Rodney. Rodney's great. I've never had a chance to meet Jazz. I've talked to her like once, but never.
Jazz, she is incredible, and you know she is absolutely first class type of a woman. She was supposed to do an interview with me, and she had to go before she did the interview. There was a meet and greet thing with her, and unfortunately something happened when she wasn't able to do it. And she had to leave, and she could have just left. She didn't owe me shit, right? But she didn't. She actually went and looked around and found me to say, I am so sorry this was going on. That means a lot to me. It really does. It shows the character of the person. And so she's an incredible woman. Congratulations. The next announcement, though, that I really want to hear is that she's going to be put into the WWE Hall of Fame. She deserves it. We're going to talk about a woman who was a trailblazer. She's one of them. She really is. So hopefully that'll happen very soon. And then talking about the Cauliflower Alley Club, they are remembering the Big Cat Ernie Ladd. Of course, February is Black History Month. So we are remembering Ernie, again, Ernie Ladd, the Big Cat. Big fan of him. He's originally from Louisiana. I grew up watching him, Mid-South Wrestling. Bill Watts actually used him. He was I think he was a booker, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I love the Big Cat Ernie Ladd.
Ernie Ladd was the booker? Yes, Ernie Ladd was the booker.
Right. For Bill Watts.
Yeah, with Watts, yes.
Watts, yeah, depending on him.
Yep.
And next week, I'm going to personally, I want to get together with my crew, and I want to pick somebody to recognize them by our little podcast and recognize them because it is Black History Month. Recognize a Black athlete that was part of changing professional wrestling and making it become mainstream. So we're going to have that announcement on Thursday. We did it on Thursday because you, me, and Robbie's together then.
That'll be good. It's kind of funny you're talking about Black wrestlers and all that. I told you this morning I fell into my rabbit hole.
Yes.
And I love my rabbit hole. For listeners watching this, the entire archive, 100+ years of the Ring magazine, boxing magazine, is available digitally on their website, ringmagazine.com/magazine, for free. You can read 100+ years of the Ring. And back in the day, the 40s, 50s, actually not even the 40s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, into early 70s, they had wrestling markers. I've been reading wrestling news from the 30s. And the thing is, we're talking about Black athletes and all that. Really different situation back in the 30s as far as Black wrestlers on a card. They were an attraction, or they wrestled there were Black cards. You didn't have Black wrestlers wrestling with the white guys. They were Black cards. And I'm reading some of this and I'm seeing these pictures and I'm like, I know it happened, but to see it in print in what was a national publication, this guy versus this guy, Black versus Black, there was no mixing. So that rabbit hole I fell onto has also become like a history lesson just in like society and racial during all this. Obviously we knew it, but it's just crazy.
Well, look, the fact of the matter is, and I don't want to get too political, but
no.
But this is the thing: it's just a fact. It wasn't until 1980 something that we had the very first Black world heavyweight champion in professional wrestling, and it wasn't until the 80s. And of course, I'm talking about Hacksaw Butch Reed, I believe it was
Ron Simmons.
Was it Ron Simmons? Okay.
Ron Simmons is considered the first African-American world champion.
They had such a similar look and style because they're both really big guys.
Ron Simmons is considered the first African-American world champion. There were many heavyweight champions, Black wrestlers. When we get Ian Douglas on here, we're going to talk Black wrestlers. Trust me. We'll talk about it. But there were many of them. But he's considered the first one because he was the NWA world heavyweight or WCW world champion. Defeated Vader because Sting got injured. They drew his name out of a bag. Right. But Power Slam 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So,
and this is specifically why I want you to wait till Thursday to do this, and why I wanted to announce what we're going to do tonight. Just because, again, you're the historian guy, and I knew with my mush for brain that I would fuck something up, which I just did. It's at Butch Reed instead of Ron Simmons. Butch Reed is one of my favorites, but part of why we're in the middle of February is taking so long to announce that we're to do this is because I've been kind of struggling with whether I was going to, not because it was whether I wanted to do this, is just because there's so many goddamn great Black professional wrestlers that it's like, man, it's hard to pick that guy because we're talking about Ron Simmons, Junkyard Dog, Ernie Ladd, Butch Reed, Abdullah the Butcher. I mean, so many.
Luther Lindsay.
Yeah.
Right there. We can go back in history. Luther Lindsay, I got that man on my arm.
Bobo Brazil. So many to pick from. But what we're going to do is, I think I want each of us, and I'm going to bring this up in our chat, I want each of us to nominate a guy And then we'll get together and vote to see who we're going to nominate. And I think what we do is we're going to introduce, one on Thursday of next week. And then I think the following Thursday is through February, right?
Yes.
I don't give a fuck if it is. We're gonna nominate one next week and then another one the following week.
We'll catch up. We'll fill up the month of February.
Yep, we'll do that.
And of course, you and I have also been talking about possibly at the end of this year, maybe doing a, get your belt rung, maybe not Hall of Fame or awards, but recognizing some people. We're working on that too. We got some irons in the fire to kind of make us more a little, significant.
Yeah, absolutely. This wraps up our episode tonight. Vet, go ahead and tell people where they can find Rasslin Memories.
Rasslin Memories, Pioneer 90.1 FM KSRQ, stream us live radio northland.org, or search for Pioneer 90.1 in your TuneIn radio app, or download the Pioneer Community Radio app. This weekend, Glenn Braga and I are going to be talking some of the headlines, some of the things happening in the world of professional wrestling. Next week, we're going to be joined by David Sahadi, whose book Backstage Pass is going to be releasing soon. And we got a few other kind of irons in the fire leading into WrestleMania time. So, we like to bring in people, talk a little bit about what's coming up, make our predictions, things like that. So we got some good stuff happening.
And guys, please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. February 18th, which is this coming Wednesday, Candy Crush from WoW. She's going to be on. Excited about that interview. Also, a week from that Wednesday, which is the 25th, Bob Johnson and Ross Hart.
You won't let me be part of that interview.
Absolutely not. They'll be here as well. Excited about that, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm going to be in the comment section. I'm going to hijack it.
That's okay. On March 2nd, Melody Koloff, the granddaughter of Nikolai Koloff, is going to be
Nikita Koloff?
Nikita, yeah. Going to be on the podcast. Sorry, I fuck that up always. But she's going to be on. And they're actually on a tour with some other Koloff members who are professional wrestlers to keep that name going. I think they're going to be performing with NWA as well. So
nice.
Excited about that.
I've got an interview, Ivan Koloff and Nikita Koloff. Obviously not the same.
Right.
Scott Simpson. Sorry.
And actually, you know what? I gotta check something here. Because I think you got me all fucking confused in the brain. Yeah, actually, it's Ivan Koloff, as I said. Yes, Ivan Koloff.
Ivan Koloff. Okay. I was kind of thinking about that. I'm like, does Nikita have a granddaughter old enough to be able to do a? Hold on a second. I think we might be a little cross here.
Right. So
Ivan Koloff too, but I think I just said.
Yep. And also, again, as I said, they're right now touring to keep the Koloff name going. So that's awesome. Because I was a huge fan of the Koloffs, man. Nikita, he was such a great, he's a great guy. I got to meet him.
Test her knowledge of family history. Ask her what other name her grandfather wrestled under.
Okay.
Irish Red McNulty. Kid you not. Irish Red McNulty.
No. What's funny is, and we'll close with this, besides like Abdullah or Kamala, the Koloffs were kind of scary to me as kids. They were brutal. They really were. One of the greatest rivalries that started, and unfortunately we'll never know how great it would have become, was a rivalry between Magnum TA and Nikita Koloff.
Oh, that was so good. When I interviewed Nikita, we talked about that.
Yeah, and what's crazy is, at the same time, if it wasn't for that accident, Nikita Koloff may have been known as one of the greatest heels, but instead, he got to be known as one of the greatest baby faces.
And when he came out of that curtain as the partner, whatever, everybody lost their shit. That was a pop right there.
Absolutely.
Funny story about Nikita. You talk about how badass he was. Yeah. We did the interview with him. And when I do interviews with guys like Nikita, I did it with Tito Santana too. I did it with Pia News. When I get to see the guys that I watched on TV, I become a fan for a second. I'll ask, ask them my questions. And I asked Nikita, I said, hey, this has been a great interview. Thank you for joining us, blah, blah, blah. Can we get a little bit of words from Nikita? And as soon as and his voice said, no, didn't drop to that. And he just started talking. Dude, a chill went down my spine. And he was talking like, Michael, what do you want me to say? And I'm like, shit.
Same experience. By the way, guys, also with Melody is going to be Neil Koloff, who is Ivan's nephew. He's going to be on with Melody as well. But talking about Nikita, I was talking to him at, I think it was Fan Fest last year. And when I first started talking to him, he spoke in his normal, American accent.
Minnesota
accent. And I'm like, you just fucked me up. No, I didn't drop the F-bomb. I respect him. He's Christian. So, but I say, man, you just messed me up. That's so confusing. And he started laughing. He told me a funny story about, another incident. But same thing went, can you talk to me like Nikita? He did. Same thing. Chills, man. Great.
He just turns it on. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, man, I can talk wrestling with you all night. You know this. We got to get going. Guys, again, please subscribe to the podcast. We will be back on Tuesday to discuss Monday Night Raw. Did we love it? Did we hate it? Or was it just okay? Find out. It'll be me, WCW veteran and author of Looking Up at the Lights, Robbie Idol. Catch us then. Until then, guys, have a great Valentine's Day. Tell someone that you love them. Make sure you tell your wife that you love her as well. And go by. Make sure you get a good card and buy her some candy. Do something. Don't get put in the doghouse or Valentine's Day. It's a day to celebrate the people that you love. Until then, you guys have a great weekend. Good night.